Welcome to this week's Investor Update. Thanks for joining me, Shelley, our Operations Manager.
No worries. Thanks for having me, Nicole.
Oh, it's great to have you here. I just thought it'd be good for us to jump on and have a chat today. So I'm having regular conversations with investors and even upcoming investors on what's really important in getting themselves set up for a new investment or their ongoing investment in regards to repairs and maintenance. So as an investor, when we purchase a property, you're not anticipating too much going wrong, right? But there's still always that chance that there could be something going wrong. You know, we're talking about a hot water system or something potentially major. And I always encourage our investors to start building up a little bit of a buffer account in those circumstances. Now, what are you seeing? And, you know, it's certainly a focus amongst that we have within the team with repairs and maintenance, but also urgent repairs. What are you identifying as those bigger items as the urgent repairs?
Yeah, so I think what we find with landlords and obviously investors coming into the market, what they need to be mindful of with urgent repairs is they think of anything that impacts cooking or anything that is flood damage or something really a major event. But also included in urgent repairs is heating and cooling. So if you've got an air conditioning unit within the unit or within the house, that's actually considered an urgent repair. So you don't, as a landlord or an investor, have the opportunity to just not repair the air conditioner. So it has to be repaired, and it has to be repaired in a quick time frame. So it's really important that investors plan for those kinds of things happening to their property so that we can protect their asset and their best interests at all times.
Yeah, absolutely. And is there any other repairs or maintenance that you identify as more urgent?
Yeah, sometimes we see, particularly during the winter months with mould or any kind of water leak, that mould develops. So if that's left untreated for a period of time, it then becomes urgent because it's considered a health risk to the tenant. So it's really important that our team has those conversations and makes landlords aware of their obligations under the legislation and that we protect their best interests at all times.
Absolutely. And just to touch on the mould, like the team have access to a company we can get a free mould report to. So that's a really good, report to come back to and just to determine where it's coming from and what it is that's creating the issue.
Yeah, I think we find that with mould, and we also find that with air conditioning. Sometimes they can be quite complex in terms of, is it an issue with gassing or is there an issue with the actual unit?
Yeah.
Same in the mould circumstance. So we really want to help the investor understand the root cause of the problem and help them address it so that it's repaired quickly and that it's resolved in the first instance.
What about a serious roof leak?
Yeah, I think serious roof leak or a roof leak, a minor roof leak, we can work through a little bit slower. Obviously, we don't want the investment to become damaged, so we need to progress it quite quickly. But a serious roof leak may also include issues with electrical faults, light fittings and things like that.
Yeah.
So they're considered urgent repairs, which we would get onto immediately, call the owner, talk about some options and get our trade out there to assess the problem.
Yeah, perfect. Smoke alarms?
Smoke alarms, something obviously that we're very passionate about in our team. We have a rigorous compliance program to ensure that those smoke alarms are checked on a regular basis. Again, protecting the landlord or the investor and making sure that we are meeting those obligations under the legislation. It's our role to advise them on what that legislation is and how they can best meet the legislative requirements of them.
A burst water service. Now, this is a tricky one that I've seen in the past or heard of, amongst the chat in the office is, could it be Hunter Water or could it be owner?
I think that is a very tricky space, and again we would get in contact with the landlord ASAP and notify them of the issue, and then we would just work with our trades. We have a really great relationship with all of our trades, and they would advise us if it's the landlord's issue or a Hunter Water issue, and then we would work with Hunter Water to get that resolved if it sits in their space.
Yeah, perfect. So I know there is a few other items on the list, right? But that gives a bit of an insight to our investors on what, potentially could arise in the future. Not that we want it to happen, but we need to be prepared.
Yeah, and I think it's just to always best plan for those things so that we're well prepared and that we can make sure that the landlord meets the obligations to the tenant.
Perfect. Thanks so much for joining me, and we'll have you back maybe next month again.
Awesome. Thanks, Nick.